Hello everybody, you wonderful mother truckers, you, and welcome to another video. So, really, we need to play this, and yeah, this is interesting because apparently social media companies need to take some responsibility for the outbreak of Southport riots. Let's listen to this disgusting DEI hire, and let's see what she said.
I think we saw, a lot of disinformation and misinformation being spread on those social media sites, and
Well, except for the fact that 90% of them were actually true, and you actively arrested, persecuted, and put those people in prison, and you and your lackeys and the government actively covered up what was happening. Any case, let's carry on.
knew what was happening. There was violent thuggery taking place on the streets of Merseyside
And now you've heard the details of what that animal did to those little girls. It was righteous anger. It genuinely was.
indeed many other parts of the country. Criminal damage being committed without our communities. There was an opportunity to take down that information where those websites, where those channels were calling for people to go out onto the streets. They were conspiring and causing people and encouraging people to commit acts of violence and acts of criminal damage. The social media companies need to take some responsibility.
No, they don't. You see, because you were too busy covering it up, a vacuum of information was created. When that vacuum of information was created, people speculated. And when people speculate, especially when this could have been dealt with a lot better, but of course, you were so determined to cover up the fact, and then the media joined in as well. You created the environment for such things to happen. Do I agree with criminal damage? No, of course not. That is breaking the law. Do I condone violence? No, I don't. But when you saw what was happening in Southport at the time, when the police were protecting one demographic and not the other, yeah, and when it also now looks like, which I've got a video which I'll be doing a little bit later, where things aren't what they seem they were, and it looks like some things were deliberately inflamed by your side. But the simple truth of the matter is, you can't say social media should take responsibility. You've even done it yesterday with Plymouth, where you just won't release any information and then complain that everybody's trying to figure out what's going on, because you just have to give a quick statement. That's all you have to do. But for you to sit there and say, oh, well, it's social media. No, it wasn't. It was you.
For that, and be a lot swifter to take that information down. It's been a difficult process. First of all, within 24 hours of the horrific events of the 29th of July.
Which you actively covered up, which you actively knew. You knew exactly what had happened, but you decided, instead of being honest, to do something about it. No, you just decided to call and attack and defend certain organisations.
We saw the disorder on the streets of Southport. In fact, that evening we saw the misinformation and disinformation, and we very quickly, wherever we could, gave information out to...
No, you didn't. You liars. You didn't. You didn't give information out. You gave nothing out. You gave vague statements at best. Ooh, the lies.
Demonstrate that disinformation was wrong. So we knew there was a name circulating on social media. We said that wasn't the name.
That is correct. That wasn't the name. But the rest of it, where people were actually telling you it was a Muslim terrorist attack,
and in my first press conference, I was able to say that we knew that the suspect was originally from Cardiff. As soon as we knew that the suspect was born in Cardiff, we clarified, and I said that in my next statement.
Which was all part of the cover-up. Oh, he was born in Cardiff. Oh, he was a lovely, sweet boy. Oh, he was just a wonderful crier boy. And all the kids' little pictures of him as a child came out, and him pretending to be Doctor Who. You lied. You lied. You knew he was a terrorist. You knew he had an Al Qaeda manual. You knew he had loads of knives. You knew he was making ricin. You knew all of this, and you actively covered it up. And now you're trying to say, as are the government and the media, oh, well, it was somebody else's fault.
My overarching priority since the
Was to lie, cover up, and deceive.
29th of July has been to get justice for the families of Elsie, Bibi, Alice, the other victims who were injured and traumatised by the events of the 29th of July.
To be fair, there was no need to worry about justice because it was obvious. And you knew that. Oh, the sanctimonious attitude.
However, I have wanted to say more.
Bullshit. You could have said a lot more. And if and before, I've not watched this, before she says it, let me guess, I didn't want to prejudice the case.
But we've worked really closely with the Crown Prosecution Service to make sure that nothing that I said, or indeed colleagues from other agencies have said, have done anything to jeopardise.
Right, which is bullshit. We've already done this with Starmer, and now we'll do it with you. When it was the Finsbury guy, where the white guy ran people over with a transit van, information out within 48 hours. When Joe Cox was murdered, information out without 48 hours. No, you're not getting away with using that excuse because it's just bullshit and we all know it.
That outcome, that positive outcome that we've seen in court today. I think we saw,
Sorry, what a load of rubbish. Absolute rubbish. So here we go again. It was Amazon's fault for providing him the knife. It was social media's fault for filling in the gaps that we weren't prepared to say anything. Was the name that was circulating wrong? Oh, and by the way, you failed to mention that account and a lot of the information which was coming out about Southport wasn't even in this country, was it? No. You sat there, you branded us all far right. You blamed everybody for everything instead of taking responsibility, and it was your police, along with the social services and the local government and all those agencies who had 15 opportunities to stop this animal from doing what it does. So you don't sit there and give it, I tried this, I tried that. You didn't do enough. And for you to try and do what everybody else is doing at the moment at the top, which is just throw it somewhere else, is absolutely and utterly despicable. Oh, these people make me sick. Any case, enough of that one. I'm done. So, until the next one.